Laura had always been quiet. She wasn't the type to fill a room with laughter or command attention with her words. She preferred the corners, the forgotten spaces where no one asked how she was doing. No one really noticed when she started staying in her room longer, or when she stopped replying to messages, or when she began whispering to something that wasn't there. Her mother, ever busy with work, dismissed it as a phase. Her father, buried under deadlines, simply assumed she was tired. But Laura knew the truth. She wasn't alone. It started with a voice, soft, almost gentle. It called her name from the dark corners of her bedroom. Laura. At first, she thought it was her mind playing tricks on her. After all, she was tired. She barely slept anymore. But the voice was patient, persistent. It waited until the house was quiet, until her breathing was slow, until the weight in her chest felt unbearable. "I see you," it whispered one night, just as she lay on her bed staring at the ceiling. Laura turned her head sharply. Her breath caught in her throat. The room was empty. She squeezed her eyes shut. "I'm imagining things." But then came the pressure. A slow, deliberate weight pressing against the edge of her bed, as if someone, something, had just sat down. Her eyes flew open. The darkness in her room seemed thicker. The corner near her closet stretched further than it should, like the shadows were bleeding into something deeper. "You don't have to be alone anymore," the voice murmured. Laura's breath hitched. It wasn't threatening. If anything, it sounded almost comforting. And maybe that was the scariest part. Because when no one else was listening, when no one else cared, the shadows did. So she spoke back. At first it was just in whispers, muted conversations when the world felt too heavy. But soon the voice responded with more than just words. It remembered things. It knew how she felt before she even said it. It knew what made her cry. It knew what made her want to disappear. "You don't have to suffer here," it told her one night as she sat curled up on the edge of her bed, staring at the floor. "There's a way out." Laura swallowed hard. She wanted to ask what it meant, but deep down, she already knew. The next morning, her mother knocked on her door. No answer. The door creaked open, revealing an empty bed, the sheets undisturbed. Only the closet was ajar, darkness pooling inside like ink. And from its depths, if one listened closely, a voice, soft and patient, whispered, "I told you she wouldn't be alone anymore."